Good morning friends and welcome to the pre-market session. We had a very strong close for the US markets, almost about 1%, as there are indications that the finance ministers of Eurozone are going to help the weak Spanish bank to the tune of 100 billion euros, and that would to some extent avert a major crisis. Also, a lot of meetings are lined up over the next few days between the Eurozone finance ministers, the central bankers and the politicians. So there are hopes that probably some kind of a short-term solution would be found to this problem, which is helping most of the markets and even some of the other commodities like crude and even some of the metals. But what remains to be seen is really how sustainable this kind of rallies would be, given the fact that the overall problem and the magnitude of it is quite large, and we have seen in the past that when there is some kind of infusion in the system, it gives you some kind of a risk on trade and most of the markets rally, but after some time it just fizzles out because people don't see any great hope. So this could also be one of those, we really don't know, but we'll have to be a little watchful there. Also friends, when we look at the Asian markets, they are also up about anywhere from 1 to 1.5%, particularly the Hang Seng and the Japanese markets. China actually came out with some important data over the weekend. Their industrial production grew by 9.6%. Even the trade surplus was much above the expectations, and inflation was down. So this is something very positive. Remember, China has done a rate cut over the weekend, and since this data has been pretty good, most of the markets are reacting to that. Let me invite Nandish on that note to take us to the F&O cues and what is it that we can do in the current scenario. Hi Nandish, good morning. We've seen very strong week last week particularly, where the index was almost up 4.7%, and given the fact that overall cues are positive, we are going to open somewhere close to 5100. So what is the outlook and what is the possible strategy one can do in the current scenario?
From the past few sessions we are mentioning that 5,000, once we close over 5,000 and 5,200 can be targeted. Now what interestingly we have seen in Friday's session, we have seen some short covering, further short covering taking place now. Around 11,000 shares were reduced in open interest with a significant increase in the cost of carry. And if you remember, last month we were talking about the PCR ratio, which was hovering up below 1 and around 0.90 levels. Now we have seen a very good rise in the PCR ratio. Around 1.46 was the levels which settled in the Friday's session. So even that's a very positive sign. So what I'm expecting from the current levels, we may see 5,200 levels on the charts, and once we come around those levels, we're able to book some profits.
Also Nandish, it's going to be quite an event heavy week because you have IIP data, inflation, Greece elections and subsequently RBI policy. So if somebody is hoping that there is going to be a huge volatility, then how does one play through options?
See, if you're expecting a broader view, then one can simply buy a triangle. You can buy 5,200 call options and on a lower side 5,000 put options. Direction specific, we have designed a strategy on ICICI Bank in which we have formed a ratio call spread by buying 860 call option and simultaneously selling 800 and 900, 880 and 900 call options. So there is almost risk is very minimal, and profit potential is 10,000 rupees in the strategy.
Also, any major change in the open interest in any of the strike? Like we remember that maybe 4,800 and 5,000, 5,200 were the major strikes where there was a good amount of open interest. So in the last few days, any major observation there?
See, now overall the focus of the market has shifted. Now we have seen that 4,600, 4,700 put option has seen a very good addition, and now the focus has been shifted to 4,800 and 5,000, 5,100 call put options. We have seen a very good addition is taking place in 5,000 and 5,100 put option, and on the higher side 5,200 call option has seen around 7% addition. So that is the reason what I am expecting, that on a lower side 5,000 will act as a very good support for a short term, and it's advisable to book some profit at 5,200 levels, and again if we close above 5,200 then higher targets can be seen.
Okay, any stock specific strategy that we are suggesting?
We have identified 3 stocks. One, Coal India has a positive bias with a stop loss of 321.50. Biocon is a positive bias with a stop loss of 217, and Alok Textile is a positive bias with a stop loss of 18.60.
Right, Nandish, thanks a lot for that update. Friends, in terms of flows, FIs were buyers to the tune of 202 crore in the cash market, and the domestic institutions were sellers to the tune of 81 crore. Also, we have seen some kind of a spike in the crude because of the strength in the euro and most of the markets, and crude actually has spiked up to $2, which is a bit of a concern. And in terms of the specific news, we believe that Reliance Capital could be in the action because SEBI has apparently given a go-ahead for the sale of their mutual fund business. Also friends, some of the power companies, there are reports that CERC may allow them to hike the cost increase to the consumers. So something like a Tata Power could be in action on the back of that. Also friends, in terms of Coal India, there are reports that they will not be allowed to agree for more than 65% of their total requirement under the FSA, which could be interesting move for Coal India, and from F&O data point also it is looking positive. So you might see some positive rub-off of this news on Coal India. Also friends, market has actually crossed its 200 days moving average, which is somewhere around 5065. So if we see some kind of a closing or strength above 200 days moving average, then it could actually provide for some more upside. That's it from all of us friends. Have a nice trading session and see you tomorrow at the same time.